All right, today we're talking about why looks do matter, despite your soft friends potentially telling you that they don't matter. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because there was another video I made where I said, well, don't look at the prettiest girl in the room and automatically assume that she's the one. But when I said this, some people took it as, well, Luke doesn't care about looks, looks don't matter. But when I said this, all that I really meant was just because she's pretty, that doesn't automatically mean that she's wifey material. And anyone that knows me knows how physically specific I am about the women that I romantically involve in my life. So sorry to burst your bubble, I care about looks. But to preface the whole topic itself of looks, I want to preface with this. God does not care about your looks, but he does care about your work ethic, quarter of Proverbs, and how you take care of your body. 1 Corinthians 6:19. And the reason he cares about both of these things is because they're fruits of the Spirit. Now, so you might be saying, well, Luke, work ethic is not a fruit of the Spirit. But it is, because faithfulness is a fruit of the Spirit. And you can't be tenacious if you don't have faith. That's what I was saying though. God wants you to work hard. God wants you to take care of your body. Once you do both of these things, where does it get you to? It gets you to the point of at least looking presentable. With the help of Proverbs, with the help of 1 Corinthians 6:19, you should at least have good hygiene, exercise, and eat well. Now I say this, and a bunch of you were nodding your heads and saying like, yeah, Luke's right. I check off all three of these boxes. I exercise, I eat well. I have good hygiene. But the only time you ever check off all three boxes is when you feel like absolute crap to begin with. You only have good hygiene when you feel like crap. You only eat well when you feel like crap. You only exercise when you feel like crap. To even just start off with the basics here. Most of you guys probably only exercise 4 times a week max. When based off your physique, based off where you're currently at, that's definitely not enough. We got sweat glands all over our bodies. You need to be exercising pretty consistently. We realistically weren't meant to work a 9 to 5 and then watch TV afterwards. Now, if you have some sort of injury, health condition like me, whatever, it's fine. But at least eat lean to maintain discipline. Eat whole foods, eat protein, eat greens, not crazy carbs. Even if you exercise 6 days, 5 days, 7 days a week, eat whole foods. And I don't want anyone complaining about whole foods or healthy foods being expensive, because realistically it's not. And if food is so expensive, why are you still fat? Let me know. Anyways, if you already exercise, you already eat well, and you're not where you want to be, you're not in the shape you want to be at, then your problem is work ethic. You either aren't going hard enough in the gym, or you aren't doing things the right way. Your workouts need to be strenuous so that your body can be challenged. And your body can only grow when it is challenged. Because your body grows when it needs to grow in order to survive. Now, I'm not saying that you should break your back and your body will grow. But you need to get to the point where you're like, okay, we almost died right there during that lift. So next time, let's make sure that doesn't happen by increasing muscle mass. Now, once again, I'm not saying to break your back and do incorrect form and tell your body, hey, we almost died by doing incorrect form. But the foundation is still there as to what I'm saying. Your body is designed to survive. It will grow if it needs to grow in order to survive. So you need to be going hard in the gym. And honestly, I don't even know how you guys aren't going hard in the gym. Let's say it takes you 2 hours to complete a gym session, from driving to getting ready to exercising. It's 2 hours you could have done something else. Especially if you're working 9 to 5. You got very limited free time. So you gotta spend your hours wisely. I don't know how you can work at 9 to 5 and then not go extremely hard in the gym and make the most out of it. Because your time is so limited. And I don't want to hear anyone say that they just love the gym so much and they need to spend as many hours as possible because it's their favorite place and they'd rather be there than anywhere else. Anyone who says that is just a non-self-reflecting liar. The gym should just be an add-on. If your greatest accomplishment is bench pressing 315 pounds, then to be quite honest here, you really haven't accomplished much. Because all that takes is consistency. There's no risk, no creativity. There's no using your brain. Give anyone with a fully functioning body enough time and protein and consistency, and they will reach 315 pounds on bench. It's really not that impressive. Now, if this is your first time ever thinking about actually going to the gym, you're like, okay, Luke's making good points. I want to look better. I want to be more presentable. Then there is a free link in the description of a free program that I made for you guys. It's not perfect, but it's a free program. Has workouts, exercises, how food works, the basics. Once again, it's not perfect, but it's what I would have used if I needed some sort of information to help me get started. And then once you use this program and you're consistent for however many years, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, you will look 80% better. Because you'll have structure and frame to your body, and you'll look like you're actually capable of doing other things other than watching TV. And then once you get to this 80% mark, this benchmark is probably the most crucial benchmark because you'll unlock a new benefit. Outside of feeling better, outside of being disciplined, gaining discipline, you will unlock the benefit of pretty privilege. And how does pretty privilege work? Essentially, good looks are associated with being young, and people want to feel young. The reason they want to feel young is because it reminds them of their prime. It reminds them and brings them nostalgia. So how can you be reminded of feeling young without reversing the aging process? By hanging around younger people that are in their prime. So good-looking people get more opportunities. So if you want more opportunities, then look 80% more presentable than everyone else. Now, there's also a limit to this. Yes, exercise. Yes, have good hygiene. Yes, eat better. Yes, buy clothes that fit you once you have the money because you're getting opportunities now that you look better. Yes, get a haircut that you like. But then it gets to a point where you start looking into certain things that increase your looks, which are just completely irrelevant and do nothing for you. Don't look into facial ratios and all that, because the second you look into your facial ratio, you're just destroying your self-conscious no matter what. And the only option here, because once you recognize your facial ratio, which was just given to you at birth, which God gave you, and you were just born with, there's not really any changing it besides maybe the fat on your face. The only thing you can really change is by doing surgery. And then all of a sudden you look like a mannequin. And no one really wants that. And the reason I bring this up is because I don't want my wife having any sort of surgery. Because if she has surgery, it's pretty obvious that she's uncomfortable with the aging process. Which, that makes sense for women because a lot of the times they place a lot of their value on their looks. Which, me saying I care about looks, that's almost saying, hey, you guys should care about your looks. But it gets to a point. Because aging is natural. Everyone goes through it. But if my wife is uncomfortable with the aging process to a certain extent, like once you're 50, 60, whatever, then you're not going to be super happy raising our kids. And I don't want my kids being scarred from an overly terrifying mom. I'm going to say one more thing here. I feel like there's a lot of people that need to ask themselves, okay, if my body was taken away from me, who would I be? How would I act? And I can talk about looks all day here and why they matter. But this isn't the final destination. Our treasures should realistically be stored up in heaven, and we should leave a legacy behind for people to be inspired by so that when the time comes, we can be home at peace with Christ.